Hi, it's Professor Marino in the laryngitis edition of English 400. I want to talk very briefly and at extremely low volume about your reading for Wednesday. There are a large number of works that try to categorize all the tools, all the poetic tricks and techniques that can be used to describe poetry and literary language more generally. They fall into two categories. Your reading today is the second. The first category describes the verse, the things that make it not prose. Things like metrics, things like rhyme, if there is rhyme. Is there a syllable count in this verse form? Are we counting stressed and unstressed syllables? In some languages, are we counting long and short vowels? That is all about versification, form in that sense. The second thing, and what your author is joining the discussion on fairly late in the game, is describing figuration. You can put things into verse, but that doesn't make it poetry, just as some things are poetry without being verse. The other key thing to literary language, especially poetry, all literary language, is figurative language. That the speech is indirect, that things are compared to other things, that there are all kinds of ways of using language figuratively that makes it literary. Your tools for reading poetry are an attempt to categorize in a modern, updated way what those tools are. There are lots of, and there are much longer versions of this out there in the world. You can get the Princeton Encyclopedia of Poetics, a mere 1,000 pages, maybe 800. I haven't checked my copy yet. It's in my office. And you know, that will give you specifics. This is a simile. This is that. This is a metaphor. This is this figure of speech. Your writer is trying also to move into a larger sense of what are the kind of meta figures behind these figures. Your writer's down with theory. He's also worked on Jacques Derrida, a post-structuralist. So, like, what are the theories of which of these figures are all basically forms of comparing one thing to another thing, which are about elision, about leaving something out. It gets complicated fast because he's joining a conversation that's literally thousands of years long, but he's also trying to give you a modern version of that toolkit. I'll see you again soon, I hope, with my actual voice.